Hello and welcome.
Okay, now I'm done.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman, Cory Walker, and Ryan Ottley. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and joining me today is Bill.
Hi, everyone.
And TJ.
Oh, hello.
Today's episode is going to be episode 62, Invincible Presents, Eve Rex Splode. We're going to be talking all about that volume as well as a few other things. How are you guys doing today? TJ, Bill, TJ.
I'm all right,
All right.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, nothing new.
I'm
Really.
tired.
Yeah.
Fucking tired, man.
Well, you almost had a meeting to go to tonight, so you got.
I had a meeting planned at 11 p.m. for 2 hours, and then have to be back at work at 5 a.m. But luckily, it got canceled. Mm-hmm. So I'm pumped about that. I'm gonna fucking sleep after this.
Would you have made it to recording if you had that meeting? Were you
Yes.
planning on it?
I was planning on doing all of it.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Just recording and then going right to that, probably,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Going right there.
No way. Well, like we said, we're the Invincible Podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. We are also the Oblivion Song Podcast,
Which also came out today.
which should be out the same day as this podcast.
Yes or no question, and yes or no question. Leave it at that.
We're not talking about it.
Did you read it?
Yes.
I wasn't going to, but because it was this issue, I had to, so I read it.
Okay.
Yeah. We're excited
That
to
was
talk
it?
about that.
That's all I
That
wanted.
was your
I just
yes or
wanted
no
to know. I
question?
just wanted to know if you read it.
Yeah,
That's all.
we're going to save the discussion for the Invincible podcast or the Oblivion Song podcast, which we'll be recording tomorrow, and both of these will be posting on Friday. But the Oblivion Song podcast goes up every month, the Friday after the new issue.
Yes, the Friday after the new issue releases, which it normally comes out on a Wednesday.
And this is a big
Releases,
is a big deal.
This is a big one because it was the end of the first story arc, the end of the first chapter. So the first trade paperback will come out.
All right, we got to stop talking about it because all I want to do is talk
It's a good
about
one.
it.
Okay.
so.
Okay. Next episode of the Invincible podcast, however, will be out in 2 weeks, and that episode will be another character discussion. We haven't done one in a little while. The last one was Oliver Grayson.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. Those are fun to do. We talk about the entire history of that character from their first appearance to their last appearance. And we like to leave it up to our listeners. So usually we'll put up a poll on Twitter with, 3 or 4 different options.
The options for this poll, it's going to be Dinosaurus,
Okay.
Battle Beast.
Okay.
Keep in mind, we did not discuss this at all, and Bill's just throwing this out
Well,
here.
that's the last one we did was
And that's it. Those
Yeah,
two.
the- well,
so
the
you
la-
have those two to choose from.
We're not doing 2 options.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I know.
We'll see.
I know. No, we're not.
Bill's just saying,
Yeah.
You better vote your big Dinosaurus.
We'll see. We'll probably put that up, shortly after this episode airs. Maybe the date airs. I don't know. Other than that, news-related stuff. Not too much, of course, because not much goes on with Invincible these days. Did you guys? What were your thoughts on Negan being a character in Tekken?
I think that's cool. He's making his way into video games now, which is cool. Like Kirkman, I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so Negan is going to be a downloadable content character for like the season pass or whatever for Tekken, and it's the TV show version of
course
Negan,
it
of
is.
Yeah.
It's still interesting though. It's like it's one of those things that like the foot is in the door. Like it is going to happen. Like it is going to happen. I don't.
definitely gonna
I
happen.
wouldn't expect Invincible to make it into a fighting game right now because Walking Dead is huge.
Yeah.
And Invincible is not. Wait till if the animated series blows up. Like it's gonna be everywhere.
I'm totally
it's gonna
cool
be everywhere.
with Walking Dead paving the way for Invincible.
Right?
Just ride its fucking coattails, do it right. I want people to get excited about it so that they can be excited about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You fucking know.
When did the first season of the Telltale game come out?
Of Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Oh jeez, dude, that
was that before
It was after
the
the
show or after the show? Are you sure, dude? Because they've been going for a
Pretty
long
sure it was after
time.
the show.
It might have been after
I think
the
it was
show.
like right
yeah.
after it came out. Not
Maybe
long
right after.
We're gonna have to look that up. Did you guys? We're gonna talk more about other comic books that we've been reading. TJ, I want to talk to you about a couple of different comics and.
I have not been reading.
Oh really?
I am
well, at the end of the episode, we're
anything.
gonna talk more about them. I definitely want to talk to you guys about Spider-Man though. But did you guys see the Invincible reference in the newest issue of
I saw
Spider-Man?
what you
I didn't
posted.
read. I didn't read him.
You didn't read the newest issue?
Neither did I.
Okay.
I
Can I
didn't
show
read
you?
it either.
It's not
Yeah, show us.
spoiler.
But we haven't talked about the second issue, so we can talk
Oh,
about
I know.
that.
So we're going to do that too. So this panel, does that look familiar? So there's a panel, like maybe 3 pages or so in the newest issue of Spider-Man, that is, I don't know if you'd call it an homage or whatever, from Invincible issue 11.
It clearly is, though. You
So
can see it.
look at the girl. She has the hoop earrings. Look
Go
at
to-
her,
go to
her
our-
bracelet.
Even the guy
So,
in the back.
real-
Oh my
the guy
god,
with
that's the
his
same
striped
guy.
shirt.
Real quick, go
the
to
building itself.
go to our Twitter to look up the comparison that we're talking
And
about.
even the guy standing there too.
But there's
Well,
one.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's in Invincible. It's Nolan standing there as a building corner crumbles
Right.
down towards him.
There's a panel in the new Spider-Man comic and a panel that's from Invincible that is the same exact scene. It's not the same picture, but the same girl, the same guy, the same building.
Even the guy with
falling,
glasses right in the corner.
everything.
Oh my
The-
God.
The Viltrumite standing there,
The bricks in
looking
the
over it,
building.
and then
Dude.
that one standing
Yeah.
there
Okay,
looking over
so
it.
you were not.
I said that, and
The
Ottley
person to
was
find
like, "I knew you'd be the first to catch this." But yeah. So that was a cool
Did
little.
you find
little-
that?
Yeah.
Did
as
you-
soon as dude, I was reading it, I'm like, holy shit, because I've always loved that panel of him standing there.
Yeah.
Because in Invincible, in the first one, the first like Invincible issue 2, when Nolan is telling the story to Mark, this is one of the panels, and Nolan's just standing there with his hands down. But when he's retelling the story to Mark in issue 11, everything's slightly different, and in this version, his fists are raised because it's he's evil, you know. And I always remembered noticing that little thing, and now
So that's why that panel stuck out.
and
to
now
you.
to see it in this, I knew right away. And in the opening page, there's a quote that says, "1 minute you might be flying high, feeling invincible." And so there was that. Like, it was just a cool little thing.
Ryan Ottley doing
Ryan.
things. Look at you.
So yeah, that was fun. We're gonna talk more about Spider-Man and other comics we're reading at the end of the episode. Maybe some movies, maybe some other things, games. The next thing I want to talk about is we got a lovely message from our friend Paul Hill. Paul Hill's
He's the artist.
yeah.
Yep.
And he wrote to us over on Twitter and says, "Hi guys, I've been wanting to message you about the animated series reveal in your episode, but needed time to gather my thoughts. So, I think an intro would work for Invincible. I could see the intro telling the Viltrumite story, like the fake one, in flashes of images mixed in with action shots of Invincible and Nolan at the forefront. I also would enjoy seeing seasonal arcs, the first being volumes 1 through 3, but the first episode opening with Mark confronting Nolan about his deceit and preparing to fight before going into flashbacks to show how they got to that point, with the final episode being the conclusion of that opening scene from the first episode. Much like what Kirkman did in his first volume, Family Matters. We, the fans, know what happens, but teasing it for the new viewership would be great. Plenty of cool ideas for the show. I'd love an adaptation of the comic, but I don't mind them extending some stories or playing with the story formats. After listening to your Blood and Guts episode, I feel the blood and gore should be built up, getting more brutal as the series or films progress. I say this for both the animated series and the film, due to the greater threats. What do you or others think? Thanks for your time. Love, Paul."
So I will comment on the idea of it in the first episode, it starting with them with their confrontation, and then it ends like the last episode picks up where it left off. I like that idea. I think that's a cool idea. My only
What's cool is it's kind of an homage to, you really ruined my day or whatever.
Yeah.
The way the first issue starts.
With the
and
bomb.
Yes.
The kid with the
my
vest, yeah.
only gripe about it is that it would take away from Omni-Man killing the Guardians.
The shock value.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away the shock. Like,
Because he kills the Guardians, and then you're like, what the fuck was that? And then you have to go, 5 more issues before you're like, holy shit.
You know, actually, with you mentioning that, I think that it could work, because my qualm with it originally was that that's like the big fucking thing, you know what I mean? So why spoil that and then have a bunch of boring shit happen before that happens? But I think it'll be cool because it could just be Mark saying, and his dad fighting a little bit.
And you just
don't
don't
really
know why.
what the context is and everything like that, and then it flashes back, and then you still get the reveal of the Guardians getting murdered by him. Like, that's a holy shit, this has got to be why. But then you still don't know why. You still don't know that he's a Viltrumite.
I guess you don't know the reason.
yeah. And
Yeah.
with Paul's theory of, talking about doing the cool, long, intro with the retelling of the story and, it being it being the story that Nolan tells him, you see that, and then you see them fighting. You're like, okay, how does it get to this point? And then maybe that episode where it's finally revealed, the intro changes, and it's a new intro that has everything kind of slightly different.
Could you imagine that being an entire episode, though? And, like, Nolan narrating it, but it like us actually seeing it happen? Like, it not just be, like, a 2-page
Oh, you mean, like,
description? Like,
Nolan's
have it be an
story
entire
being an episode?
hour-long...
Oh
an
my God.
hour-long thing, like, how they're a peacekeeping thing. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm excited to see
the
because
viewers
they kind of
believe it. Can you
They
imagine how much
fucking
they would...
believe it,
Yeah.
dude.
Oof.
That's the kind of stuff that the show can do. It can
But
really
then again, if
build
that's
on...
the intro, then every week or however long, every episode, the viewers are like, yeah, we get it. It's kind of like, you know, and then we entered, and then the Fire Nation attacked, and everything changed. You know what I mean? Like, you get that story over and over, so you know the stakes.
I'm fine with a Fire Nation, with an Avatar intro, because it changes.
That's kind of what I was thinking, though, when he said that the story kind of is told, because that's a story that's told in the beginning.
I just don't want, like, a typical intro, like with the music and like the names. Like, I don't want that.
I either want something cool and meaningful or just quick name on the top.
Yeah,
like
I just want the Invincible animated series.
And then you have a whole hour of content as opposed to...
Or like there's an intro scene and then like the camera pans up, whatever, says the name, and then it carries on with the scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, thanks for the wait, was there something else? Oh yeah, the blood and guts, definitely. We agree it should
That's how the
it
comic
should go
was,
up.
too.
Yeah, you know, progress with the show. We did a whole episode on the blood and guts, our previous episode, and we agree totally. But thanks for rating in, Paul. Other than that, I think we're ready to get into our main discussion. Our main discussion this episode, like I said, is going to be all about Invincible Presents Adam, Eve, and Rex Splode.
Volume 1.
Volume 1.
Weird, right?
Well, I think they always do that, regardless of...
Just to see?
Yeah,
in case. Yeah.
Which we'll talk about that at the end of this, if we ever got a Volume 2. But the first thing I want to talk about is that this continues the secret origin of. So if you guys remember, the back of issue 25, or if you have the second hardcover or whatever. Anyways, in the back of issue 25 Invincible, this was printed. At long last, the secret origin of Monster Girl. The secret origin of Adam, Eve. The secret origin of Duplicate and Duplicate and Multipole. There was also the Rex Splode. There was the Immortal. So yeah, it was taken from this. Now the Rex
Taken from
Splode
this
one.
and just like
Well, this
built?
happened first. This was released in issue 25 first. The Rex Splode little, whatever you call it, 2-page short
Origin story
was drawn by Matthew Roberts and colored by Bill Crabtree, and the Adam Eve one was done by none other than Kari Randolph of Tech Jacket fame, and Canilla Tripp. But you'll notice that, in the back of the trade paperback for Invincible Presents, Nate Bellegarde talks about how he used these as reference. So there's all of these images happen in Invincible Presents for both Adam, Eve,
They
and
do.
Rex
The
Splode.
Rex Splode one is like verbatim. Like that panel is in it.
Yep.
What's cool about it is that it's not verbatim, but it is the same scene.
The way they
at different
the
angles.
way they expanded everything, it's awesome.
I have the other version of this page
Yeah.
from Nate Bellegarde.
All right, so the first issue, it was first released as just the Adam Eve one. Invincible Presents Adam Eve, 2 issues. First one in December of 2007, second one in March 2008, and then they launched a collection which contained both of them, both Adam Eve issues as one, and that came out in September of 2009. I think they did that as kind of like a precursor for the Rex Splode one, because that kind of ties into it, which Rex Splode 1, 2, and 3 came out in November to January of 2010. And then the whole volume itself was collected in July of 2010 with all 5 issues of Invincible Presents. This was not the first time you guys read it, was it?
No, we read it. When did I read it?
I
read it a long time ago.
I think I've read it 3 times.
Yeah, it all seemed very familiar to me. Like I remember all like the big moments in it.
because you got to think, we obviously read it from the origins. I think this was when, now I remember Brit coming out and not picking up Brit, even though we were reading Invincible. We didn't. I don't think any of us picked up Brit weekly or monthly. You know what I mean? But this we got. I remember getting these like it was a big deal. It came out right before Conquest too. I remember that the Adam Eve one.
You know what? That's what it is. I read it when it came out.
Yeah,
it had to have been. It had to have been.
It was after Rex died in the comic. It was like right after Rex died.
His was, yeah. And hers was right before she died. You know, because hers kind of explains her powers a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was written by Benito Cereno, who also wrote Guarding the Globe, issues 1 through 6. The artist is Nate Bellegarde, who did Brit issues 1 through 12. So not the early series of Brit, but, you know, when he had his ongoing. Bill Crabtree was the colorist, who colored Invincible for 54 issues. And Russ Wooten was the letterer, who letters everything. Corey Walker did the covers for Invincible Presents Adam Eve 1 and 2. Otherwise, it was Nate Bellegarde who did the covers. So yeah, issue 1 is when we find out that Adam Eve's mother, or that she was given to two parents who lost their baby in childbirth.
This was kind of cool.
Yeah, how he switched them.
Yeah, so the government was coming to take the baby from the doctor. What was his name? Bay something? Bay...
Brandyworth?
Yes.
Yeah. Brandyworth is... we'll refer to him as the doctor, Eve's father. Yeah, so he works for the government, who we know as the Pentagon, you know? And, yeah, they were running these experiments on this woman, trying to create a superhero. And the doctor didn't want the government to get their hands on the baby. Right?
So there was a couple, I'm assuming a room over, that had a stillborn baby, and he switched Eve with that child.
But the reason why he did that was because the government was after the baby. So the government was arriving at the hospital and he needed to do something. So it appears, or we assume, that the mother of Adam Eve died during childbirth. You see pink coming out of her eyes, and she looks like she's in pain giving birth.
Yeah, they don't say in this, you know, at this moment, but Brandyworth just says they lost the child.
Yeah, the last thing you see of the birth is like the doctors and Brandyworth, the doctor, looking at the mother giving birth and being like shined with pink.
So what Brandyworth did was he told the agents we lost her during childbirth, but in reality they didn't lose her. And he found this other couple that had just lost their baby died in childbirth,
and switched
the baby, but the parents don't know, obviously,
that it's not their baby.
The parents think that their baby actually survived birth, and that they're the actual parents.
Coincidentally, Eve's adopted mother then also has red hair.
Yes.
So it's extremely like, oh, it just so happened that the government was coming, and it just so happened that this was a stillborn baby, and it just so happens that her mom was also redheaded. Yeah. Sweet.
It worked out.
And then we see this.
I think it's safe to assume, like, Brandyworth did this because he loved the child, right? We don't know at the time, but, like, he was in love with the mother, and he didn't want the government to get the child, so he hid it. I mean, I guess we'd have to assume that he'd hide it some other way, like it just worked out for him.
He would have
protected it somehow.
Then we see here after that, and we see periodically throughout these first 2 issues of Adam Eve, that Brandyworth is kind of following her through her life
as she's growing up. Yeah, I like this one scene of her parents and her leaving the movie theater. There's a Science Dog movie in theaters. You got the guy with the Science Dog T-shirt, and they joke about
all the rubber nipples.
Oh yeah. So
6
many
rubber nipples. Yeah,
the Batman reference.
Yep.
A lot of Apple references too. You know, obviously Adam Eve. There's even a snake reference, like Adam Eve apples.
I was wondering why, because her pacifier has an apple on it. Her mom is trying to get her to say apple or something like that, and then she's like app, and then she starts
to speak the what is it? Not the genetic, the scientific chemical elements, of an apple.
So that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, is the things that make Eve more interesting that you didn't know in the comics, she's actually very, very smart. And her
scientifically
speaking.
Yeah, like she doesn't talk like that ever in the series. Like
not at all.
She
but
never...
when she's a little kid, she can break down what makes an atom and the electrons and everything like that.
Yeah, like that kind of comes naturally to her.
Right.
You know, which was interesting. And that seems like something that could have been.
It just goes to show
more.
like that she actually has
that
like,
knowledge. She doesn't
a very
just
clear
think
understanding of like everything on the atomic level.
I remember one point when I think it was during Africa, when she talked about how when she has extra, like when say she turns, you know, a huge pile of leaves into a small flower or whatever. And Mark asked her, he was like, you know, so what if there's ever any extra? And she says, oh, I have to go to the bathroom a lot those days. So it's almost like she absorbs it or something, or
I do remember that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and reread that part, but that's the only other time I can think of that, you know, she gets a little bit more scientific with, you know, what it is she's actually doing.
Yeah, but I mean, this even, like, the next page, they're applying her into, like, a gifted, academy.
Yeah.
So she's going to school, but then gets kicked out?
Yeah.
Is this what happens?
Yeah, she gets kicked out because, I mean, and I don't even think it's really clear in this one, but ironically
sounds like
it's
it's
clear.
not her fault.
Well, it's clear in the issue 25 Invincible. She says that all she was good at was the science stuff. She didn't like anything else. She didn't work hard at anything else. She was really good at science, but that was it.
She was doing the homework. It wasn't
Maybe that's
good
why
enough
they
for
changed
them.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. She said I was doing the homework, but just nothing is good enough for them.
This is when we really start to see a lot of strife between her and her family. She yells that she wishes she was adopted. Her mother brings her dinner, and she turns it into a cheeseburger.
That's the first time she uses her powers, too.
You're right. That is.
So we get, and this is very similar, I feel, to, I think it's similar to Invincible's first outing.
Oh yeah, kind of like stopping the
Two thugs,
the thugs,
and she comes up and
they're kidnapping dogs.
Yeah, for experiments.
To sell them to like science companies and stuff like that.
And it was cool. She a dog pees on one. She turns the pee to she makes the acid in the pee. Like,
she turns their
more
masks
more acidic.
Their masks into
that was
hard
cool.
metal.
I really liked
them
that.
Heavy.
Yep. Also at Apple Circus, the Big Apple Circus in the background. Another little Apple reference.
Isn't that a much more interesting way of her powers being used other than like just making
pink
stuff
stuff?
appear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really is.
Like turning the pee to be more acidic, turning the helmets to be heavier.
So they can't.
Not just putting. I mean, maybe I guess you'd say a more advanced use of her powers would be to just create a big heavy pink thing around their head.
Yeah.
I will say,
instead of changing the structure of it.
With this being her origin story, it's very easy to use her powers in cool ways because you can explain it, but you're not going to explain it during what she's doing in every fight while she's fighting Conquest, while she's fighting Angstrom. You know what I mean? So,
but I think that if this was explained early on, it would have gotten to the point where if we would know if all of a sudden, Conquest clothes turned to flowers. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. So something like that they could have done.
But I think that...
we would have gotten that anyways.
Yeah. I think it just kind of got to the point, though, that we knew that she made purple shapes. Maybe because it was easier. It was kind of like that Green Lantern thing. I'm sorry, pink shapes and stuff. But there are times where she's turned things to flowers or things have messed up. So, but yeah, we get Brandyworth.
This is where he finally comes out of the shadows.
Because he comes out because he sees her using her powers in public, and he's like, you can't do that because they're going to find you. And, like, there's people after you, or people that are, if they see you, they're going to come after you, and you're doing this in public, you can't do that anymore. And she just kind of like shrugs him off, and that
we get her.
He also reveals to her that he's her father.
Kind of like,
not
well,
like
says,
he insinuates it.
Spiritual father.
And he says that she was adopted, which she was excited about. From now on, we get like some minor time jumps, right? I'd say some time has passed, and
this kind of reminds me of why can I not remember her name? Fucking Invincible's daughter.
Oh,
Tara?
really? Tara?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, the pacing of it did.
But like even the costume, like her as a teenager now, like it felt, you know what I mean?
So we got Kilcannon, who we've seen made a couple appearances throughout Invincible and other series. In Invincible, he refers to Eve, like when she's much older, with Mark and everything like that. Kilcannon refers to Eve as her arch nemesis. He likes to think of himself as her big villain.
That's how it felt through this comic.
Which is kind of like we see why he thinks that, But yeah, we get some of her fighting.
This is cool though. This is another cool example of her powers. He makes his boots turn into glue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she creates a pink ball to bounce the explosive back at him. Turns his boots to glue and it sticks to the pavement. Yeah, really cool. More Brandy worth watching her.
So we get the cyborgs. Donald. Donald is there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this pre-cyborgness? It would have to be. Yeah, because he wasn't.
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Not actually. He might be pre-cyborg here.
Because this is many.
I mean, Brit is going. There is
to...
Brit in this.
Right.
This takes
but
place.
Brit's been going a long time.
Yeah, this takes place before Brit and Donald as a robot.
Right. And Donald just became like he just was turned into a cyborg in the beginning of Brit. Remember, because he was getting used to his body and everything. He didn't even know that he was a cyborg for a while.
You're right. So this might be pre-robot Donald.
He seems pre-robot Donald.
Interesting. All right. I like that. So we also get not Erickson. Yes. I think that's his name. Erickson.
The black guy, right?
Yeah.
The head,
and then who is the crazy scientist guy? Those are the two guys from Brit. They actually died in Brit. That's how I know that this comes before it. Rogers and Erickson. We made fun of the fact that they sound like a law firm. But Rogers is the guy with the crazy eye and everything like that. And we knew from Brit that they were obsessed with
super soldiers
and creating superheroes and everything like that. Like this, it fits so perfectly as a villain in this. And so we find out that Rogers and Erickson created all those different versions. They kept
3, 4, 5 more.
They kept trying to make Adam Eve.
Right.
They kept trying to.
I love this panel that you can see Erickson in his glasses.
That's awesome. I didn't notice that. That is really cool.
So what did this? And you guys probably aren't going to get it, but so there's a bunch of different experiments, failed experiments in like big human-sized test tubes that they're floating in that they're talking about how they're failed experiments. What does this remind you of?
So two things. One, because you just talked about it, Independence Day.
Oh, I could see why you would say that, but no.
Because when they show up the different tests, the different ones that have arrived over the years. And two, the other thing that I think of when I think of this, and it's probably not it, but it's one of my favorite movies, is The Prestige. And I think of that too. And if you don't get that reference, go watch Prestige because it's an incredible movie.
Obviously, thinking about like soldiers, I think of Reanimen.
No.
What do you think?
It's Alien Resurrection. Do you know? Have you ever seen Alien Resurrection before?
You made me watch it a long time ago.
So the whole story is that they clone Ripley.
Oh yeah.
There's many. Right. There's she's number 8.
You're right.
And there are 7 failed experiments, and they walk into a room and they're all deformed just like that in test tubes.
Huh.
Yeah. When I was like, oh no way, that's Alien Resurrection.
So yeah,
which Joss Whedon wrote, just so you know.
In this scene,
Joss Whedon wrote Alien 3, just so you know.
No, he did not. He wrote Alien Resurrection. The guy who directed the Facebook movie directed Alien 3, which I will go on the record and I will get a lot of flack for. Alien 3 is my favorite.
You love
movie.
Alien 3.
I fucking love Alien 3.
The Facebook movie?
Yeah. Social Network?
Oh.
David.
No.
Dave.
No. He also did.
Now it's gonna bother me.
Its name is David, not David Lynch. No, that's not it.
It'll come to me later. At this point, Erickson and Rogers sees a young Adam Eve on the TV. They recognize her because she looks just like her mother, and they
make a plan.
They start scheming something.
As the schemers do.
Yep. So yeah, more talk with Brandyworth and teenage now Adam Eve.
And this is where he admits that he is in love, or he
that
did love.
That was such a good scene too. She Adam Eve asks if she was your assistant, and if that's where all of my science smarts come from, and it does this like silent flashback, one panel to Brandyworth, basically extending a hand to a homeless mother of Adam Eve. Like, that was a great scene, and then he gets all choked up about it. I love that. But the first issue ends with Brandyworth basically begging to her to stop doing what she's doing, stop being a superhero. He wants to protect her, and a police car driving by and her going to help. So,
but it ends with him saying, "I can't lose you too."
Yeah,
and I think that's very telling that it ends there, because we don't really see how
What
much
happened.
he loves her,
what happened to the mom.
It says a lot about his character, because we don't get a lot from his character, I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it shows like that he loved her mother and he loves her.
All right, chapter 2
starts with Capes Incorporated.
Hey, there's Bolt.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
So a cop is saying that there's a hostage situation, and
Yep.
they won't let anyone in unless they're wearing a pink tutu, or
Exactly,
they're like
yeah.
giving a description of the woman they need to see, and then Eve shows up, and they're like, "Oh,
You
you
must
match
be...
the description."
Who does that cop look like to you?
Ryan Ottley.
What does his name tag say?
Is it fucking Ryan? It's R.I. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's fine.
You put me on the spot because I didn't think
I know.
anything of it, but like the first thing that showed up into my head, Ryan Ottley, and
Isn't that
that's
funny?
his fucking name. R.OTT. Officer Ryan Ottley.
Yep.
Wow.
So Ryan Ottley's in the Invincible universe as a officer.
No shit. When did you catch that?
Just on this reading.
Really?
Yeah, I reread it
How do
yesterday.
you catch this shit? Do you look at name badges and everything like that to
I just
find
look at
things?
all that stuff. I look at little details.
I don't. Unless Eve's butt is on the
Is
thing.
on the page.
Then I'll zoom in and be like, oh. But anyways.
All right. First 2-page spread here. Eve goes in to figure out what's going on with this hostage situation. And
Napoleon
she's
Dynamite is there.
confronted by
I
Napoleon
thought
Dynamite.
the same thing.
This kid number 2 is talking to her. What precedes is one of my favorite. This is what stands out to me when I think back at this whole series, is this fight scene. She has this fight scene with these are the test tubes kids.
The 5 or 6.
5?
6.
Is
There's
there
6
6 of
different
them?
ones. Yep.
3, 4, 5.
There's 6. There's got to be because
I
there's
only
one that
see
turns
5.
into gas.
Yeah, that's one of them. It's the purple one.
Oh yeah, okay, the little one.
Yeah.
So 5.
So, but like the way the powers are used in this, like how gross the siblings are.
What's
Right.
cool about it is how broken their powers are, but they've learned to use them even broken.
Yeah, but you can kind of tell like they're kind of like, hey, we're gonna try and make a science-based superhero, and it's like, oh, this one's just all gas. This one's just kind of slime. Like, this one's just all muscle.
Well, what is it? What can the girl do? Because we all know the guy. He's like number 2 is like the T-1000. Like he's like
Kind of, yeah. But even here, like
he looks like Clayface.
even here, he kind of turns it into a harder material.
Yeah, so
They
he's like
all
Clayface.
kind of,
He can like.
She is too.
yeah. At one point,
If you
she
look at
turns it
her-
into spikes, right?
Yeah, if you look at her hand,
Right here.
they kind of go into like a boulder with spikes
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
And then the other one can turn
And she's
into
like
like
super strong. She's got veins all
It's
over
funny.
her.
It's almost like Eve's powers, but only on themselves. Like, they don't use them outwardly; they only use them inwardly, and they can change the, the chemical makeup of their bodies instead of things around them. This is my favorite page of probably this entire trade paperback. I love this page where she's fighting number 2, and she slams the pole through his shoulder, and it goes down to the middle of his body, and then he like does the I'm sure it's in T-1000. It's been in stuff before where he kind of like turns around.
pulls it out.
What is it? The Destroyer in Thor does that. And he turns his neck around, his arms around his body. You notice that the pants actually turn around. Everything reshapes. And she's like, "You're trying to kill me, and I don't even know your name." He's like, "My name? My name is Phase 2. Take 2. Try again. Second born. Second best. My name is Get Back in the Tube, boy. You make me sick."
Make me sick. God.
But yeah, Eve gets her ass kicked, and
Why is this guy yelling shoes?
he's not the smartest. Even the one says that.
Shoes.
Even the one says that he
Shoes.
hasn't developed enough.
Well,
He's
none-
been out
none
of the
of
tube
them-
long enough.
They
That's
don't
right.
know how to speak English. They
He's-
haven't been out of the test tube long enough to
He's
learn
the only
English.
one that's been out enough to learn to speak. Yeah. What do you see?
The lights just flickered
Oh, did
Did
they?
they?
for a split second.
Well, hopefully we don't lose power. Yeah, and she at one point she just like burrows herself underground or something, right? Or in a wall.
She creates a dome over her and then digs a hole through and then comes out another end. But she's protecting the doctor,
Oh yeah.
and then she creates this body armor,
Oh, I love
which
that.
is pretty badass, and kicks number two's head all the way around.
It's like this crystal looking.
Mm-hmm. And then he grabs a bunch of rocks.
Did you
and
notice
they
this-
form to his hands?
This one kind of looks like the Doctor, this
yeah,
one-
I guess he does.
mutant. Which made me wonder, like, are all of them genetic? Him and the mother. Was he?
Maybe.
Is he actually Eve's true father?
I took it as he was.
That's where she got her smarts from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think these clones are his children as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they had samples of his DNA or
That's
whatever.
kind of fucked up that he doesn't even care about him.
Well,
He cares so much for her. They got a point then, if that's the case.
that's true. Yeah, they are trying to kill him, but they also can't survive, as we find out.
They can't stay this long out of the tube.
Yeah, so they just disintegrate.
Yeah, number two says, Eve's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, to do this, then die. No good out of the tube, not for long at least. No matter, they don't care about us now. They have you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says goodbye, Eve, and they're literally just disintegrating and poofing into gas and stuff around them.
I love that page. That's one of my favorite pages too. Is Eve just saying I guess I won, and her just all bloodied up. Yeah, Nate Beauregard is awesome. I really do like his stuff.
Yeah, I do too.
After this,
They go back to the Pentagon.
yeah, because I can't always forget his name. Erickson.
I will say that this is one of the, I won't say brutal, but like one of the most fucked up things that I think I've seen in the Invincible universe.
It's really fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
Yeah. So he.
It's good though. I like it. It's a good one.
Oh, seeing her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really fucked up.
So Erickson basically says, "We don't need you anymore."
Yeah.
I mean, we
The good
have.
Doc knows full well that treason is the reason for the season, and that season is Death Christmas. Yeah.
And
So-
then turn the page.
And
We see
Oh,
Adam
no.
Eve's.
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
Turns out, I don't know why we didn't think of this before, that the mother did not die in childbirth.
No.
That's where they got all
Yeah.
the
That's what we were saying.
That's where she got all of the.
other clones from.
Yeah.
The
They
experiments.
keep trying. Yeah. So she's
And
still
she's-
in a test tube, all hooked up.
She's
It's-
wired to.
It is one of the most disturbing things in all of Invincible.
Yeah, she is
It
cut
is.
open. Her eyes are taped shut. She's had brain surgery. It looks like she's been cut open and sprawled out everywhere. And she's got her legs are strapped open, and she has all of these tubes.
Yeah, everywhere.
Ugh, it's disgusting.
I don't know if this were to come
And
out
to
today.
make it
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Man,
know.
there's some stuff in comics
And-
today.
and to make it worse, they assume they don't need her anymore because they've got Eve. So he shoots several bullets into the tube with the mother, and that panel of just blood pouring out, like that bloody water pouring out of it, was brutal. Brandyworth freaking out, getting shot in the head by Erickson, and then
Very quick death.
very quick.
Like there was no like, and now I'm gonna kill you. It was just like the panel. He's wrestling with the gun, and boom, shoots him in the head.
Yep.
And then shoots
once
him again
he
on the
died,
ground.
Ugh.
Adam Eve went fucking straight into the Avatar state.
Yes. Yep. I am Samantha Eve Wilkins, and I defy you to even remember who I am.
I hear her voice as I'm reading it, like kind of echoey, like
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
I am Samantha.
Like,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Avatar has taken over.
Her earrings turned to the Adam Eve logos. I didn't
Were
notice
they
that
not
at first.
before?
No, I just looked back. They even fall off after she's doing that. That's cool. But the gun in
She
Erickson's
didn't have
hand.
earrings.
No, it doesn't look like it. No.
She didn't have earrings at all. I'm looking back at the panels with her in the handcuffs.
The fact that the
She had no
gun
earrings.
does not turn to sand, it doesn't turn to the fact that it turns to snakes,
snakes.
is fucking terrifying.
It is. Just the way she rips off the mask and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, back before this happened, they talk. The doctor, her father, said that they're.
oh yeah,
Well, yeah, when she like didn't she create spikes in the subjects' heads,
Well,
1 through 5.
well, she said that. The doctor said that we put mental blocks in you so you couldn't.
Right, but it was after she did that, because she was so freaked out about him dying that she was able to. It's back here. Yeah.
Huh. I never
She
noticed
said
that.
she says I could feel the atoms inside of them. I could see all of the molecules in their brains and stuff like that, but she couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, you're right.
And then he was like, "Well, we had to put blocks on you because you would be
It'd
omnipotent."
be too powerful.
Yeah, he
So-
said you'd be a god.
So was she controlling matter here?
Yeah,
Like, with
that's
our
how I took
humans?
it. That's how I took it.
Interesting. I always thought the first time she ever did it was to Erickson and Rogers. So the first time she ever did it was to the kids.
Right.
Huh. See, I think
Yeah.
I took that as her just like making her pink things kind of like this. Like making pink things out of the ground like she would spikes
No,
that
it's
just stab
straight
them.
up out of their.
That does look like
the
they're coming out of their heads.
Schlunk is like their brains coming through
Cool.
the spikes. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, she makes Erickson and Rogers forget who she was, anything about them. There's that snake going through her, mask, another Adam, Eve, Apple, Garden Eden kind of reference. She flies home to what was her birthday party from her parents, who they're just. Her dad's pissed at her. I mean, he ate some of her cake. They were worried
I
about
don't
her.
understand why they hate each other so much.
So I was gonna save this to the end, but maybe it's something you can be aware of too when we go through the next 3 issues. Is that one thing I didn't like about this whole thing is that we don't get any resolution between her and her parents. This whole time I'm thinking like, wow, she's kind
Well,
of
I think
being,
that's because that's
she's
carried
kind
over.
of being a brat.
That's
and
carried over into Invincible, though. Like,
Yeah.
this is kind of setting up, like, that bad relationship.
Right.
Like, her mother's always been kind of doughy, just not really, like, yes, dear, like, everything's okay. And then her dad's always been an asshole. Like,
So he's just a dick.
that's what it seems like. That's
That's
how
it?
he
Yeah,
was.
but
I
she's
don't think I never got that from
I
him.
didn't think
though.
so
I thought he
either.
was a very typical dad.
Like
Really?
I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing as I was reading. If
What
like
did you do that's so bad?
if Remy came home and we were sitting there waiting
Yeah,
all night
all
long,
day
be
and
like,
didn't know where she
it's been your
was?
fucking. And she's like, oh well, you would forget my birthday anyways. Be like, who the fuck? Go to your room.
Yeah.
Not only that, but she was like, the first thing she says was, "Oh, it's my birthday. I figured I could actually enjoy it by spending time away from you guys. Fuck you, you little bitch. Get your ass in your room
yeah,
before
she's
I
angsty.
spank your little bottom."
She's
No.
I think she's wrong here.
I
Yeah.
agree that I think she's being a brat.
Yeah.
But she took a
He
picture.
does raise his hand to hit her at one point, and I don't know if... Did he hit her earlier?
No.
No, I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember him being portrayed as not having a good relationship with her in Invincible. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the
I
reason.
feel like that's kind of her fault, though.
Yeah.
And then she changes her
She goes to her
family
room.
picture.
Yeah, changes the family picture to be the family, her actual biological family.
The kids included, her mom and the doctor. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that these little figurines here? Did you look to see? Because she's got a bunch of like little figurines on her dresser.
Yeah, one looks like the little finger puppet.
Yeah. Yep, that one there.
Oh,
But,
shoot!
but one of them is Stinky Cheese Boy.
Look, there's a science dog
Where's the science dog?
right
The other
above
side.
This way?
on the top left.
Oh, yeah. Yep, but did you guys ever read that book, Stinky Cheese Boy or whatever?
No, where is that?
Right at the bottom right.
Oh no,
Right
I
there.
never read that.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's supposed to be like the Gingerbread Man, but
Oh, really?
one of he made a Stinky Cheese Boy instead. So that's the end of the Adam Eve one.
Yeah.
Now we get to the good shit. To the best character
So
in the
that came
Invincible
out.
universe.
That came out right before Conquest, and I think that was fairly. Oh yeah, that does look familiar.
Stinky Cheese Man and Other Stupid Fairy
Yeah.
Tales. Was the
I think
book.
that was necessary for Conquest, right? Because I mean, I think that's why they released it when they did, to explain why Eve was suddenly able to do that. Because
Control.
even in the following issue, after she fucks up Conquest, it's her in the hospital or with Mark, and she's like, oh yeah, it seems like when I could blah 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 blah, I have these mental blocks, and it's just kind of like rushed by.
Yeah, glazed over.
Would you say that for someone reading Invincible for the first time that they should read this before getting to Conquest, or is it?
Not necessarily.
It's one of those things where like it definitely adds more, but does it add enough to make it worth it? But the thing is, I would just suggest reading this, like in general.
I would also, but again, it's one of the
not
things
to add just because I like it.
Did I read this before Conquest?
If you read it when I read it, you did, because we did.
I feel like I did. I feel like I read it afterwards. Then.
Maybe
because I remember one of the big things is she has that power. Like she gets killed, and you're like, well, because if you read this, you could be like, well, when she's near death or stressed out, she could just heal herself, and it wouldn't be that big. But I remember when we read it,
when you read Conquest,
you legit thought that she was dead.
Yeah. No, I still did too, even after reading that, because I didn't assume she still had a little life left in her. All right. Invincible presents Adam, Eve, and Rex
Splode.
Oh boy! All right. So we in the beginning is Aladdin stealing food. I like that he actually makes the Aladdin reference.
Now this is a different black man.
Yes.
That is bald.
Yes. This is not Richardson. No.
Roderick.
Oh shoot.
It's something short.
Radcliffe. Yes, this is Radcliffe.
I was close with Roderick.
You were.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Here we go.
Go for it.
So he's stealing food, and Radcliffe, throws like this futuristic bomb thing at him, and it just kind of incapacitates him for a while. And he says, "You should know you can't escape the long arm of Johnny Law." And Rex they talk for a while. Radcliffe makes the Aladdin reference that Ryan was talking about, basically calling him Aladdin because he's stealing food. He says, do you think it's good that you're stealing food? And he says, well, I got to do it because I need to eat. So
his parents
we got to do what we got to do.
And
he's like, do you know does your parents know that you're stealing? And he goes, who do you think sent me, dude?
Yeah. So he goes home, they're eating, and his father's like, can you get something a little bit heavier considering it's Christmas, not just whatever they're eating? And then Radcliffe shows up.
They're sitting in rags. They're freezing cold. Their house is broken, and it's a mess. So Radcliffe shows up, and he introduces himself. And
we're shown pretty early that Rex's dad is kind of a jerk, right?
Yeah,
right away he's not appreciative of what Rex brought, and not only that, but
again, I never really got that.
Really?
I feel like
he sells his son literally in the beginning.
Radcliffe says
that's the surprise though. I never got that he was a jerk before that. Just by
no. I mean, it was like Rex son. I know it's a light and easy to carry, but you think next time you get something a little more hearty, it is Christmas. Yeah, I don't really get it so much from that. Yeah. You're right.
I thought it was a surprise, even on Rex's face. Well, we'll get there. But Radcliffe shows up and he's got a bag of food in his hand, and he says, I brought you guys dinner. And his dad opens it up and he's like, oh, steak, which I think is important for later on. They're eating the steak, and Radcliffe basically tells them, I want to make you guys rich. I want to give you enough money to give you guys steak for several lifetimes. And he goes, well, what do you want? What do you want for all this money? And he just gestures to Rex, and the father goes, the boy? Is that all? Radcliffe, you've got yourself a deal.
Just like that, gives him up.
No problem.
Before we move on, though, Radcliffe, a little history on Radcliffe. Now, we know Rogers and Erickson. We saw
work at the Pentagon.
They work at the Pentagon in the science division, right? So
Help me out here. Who's the guy from Wolfman?
Agent? The agent?
The agent.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name was Invincible. Remember he was the guy that was going to be called Invincible?
Yeah.
But the name was taken. I can't remember his name.
Didn't they just call
his
him
name Agent?
Yeah.
I think his name's Agent.
Just Agent?
Yeah. He's a different guy. So Rogers and Erickson work at the Pentagon back when Adam Eve was a kid. There's a science division. They wanted to create superheroes. They ended up dying at the hands of Brit during that. Well, everybody's still young, right? Director of the Pentagon is Radcliffe at the time. During all that, Radcliffe was the boss to Erickson and Rogers, right? So if we go to issue 50 of Invincible, in the back is the secret origin of Cecil Stedman. Cecil. And it is Britt doing his thing and saving Cecil, who is being held hostage by these two supervillains. Britt fails, kind of. The supervillains, their toxic gas goes off, and he saves Cecil, except only a portion of his skin remains scarred. During an attack years later on the Pentagon, Cecil is helping carry out the current director, which is Radcliffe. You see in this scene is where he gets this famous scar that's going down his left eye. In this scene, the Lizard League shows up, and those two guys that caused the scarring on Cecil's face show up, and this is when Radcliffe admits to Cecil that, hey, sometimes you gotta work with the bad guys in order to, that's the best way to do it. Cecil kills those two formerly bad guys, and the Guardians show up, and they're like, Cecil, what have you done? They imprison Cecil. Radcliffe shows up to the prison, looking like he does in this, and says that I've gotten myself involved in a side project. It's taking up a lot of my time, and it's entering into some gray areas I can't directly associate with the Global Defense Agency. I need to step down, distance my project and myself from the agency. You're the only one alive who can replace me. And then Cecil goes on to become the head of the Global Defense Agency when Nolan shows up. That's in issue 50 of Invincible. So keep that in mind. Radcliffe was formerly the director, worked closely with Cecil, and basically promoted Cecil up to his position when he left. So that's who Radcliffe is. The side project that he was referring to is this house, which we now continue our story at.
So Rex is given like a mansion to live in, essentially, and he's trained, and these doctors. So I didn't know this about Rex, that he actually is given somewhat of a super serum.
Yeah, I always forget that.
Yeah.
Like that it makes him tougher and stronger. And at one point they say that it makes him slightly impervious to his own explosions. Like makes him withstand it a little bit, right?
There's a part, it's like 3 pages over after that, gross, his tendons are out. And it's
very Wolverine.
Yeah, and they're explaining in pictures like what he can do. So he can charge any inanimate or any what do they say? Because this is
non-animal origin, animal origin free AOF, as we say in the pharmaceutical business.
But I think
AOF?
you'll discover that
AOF,
plants,
animal
animals,
origin free.
and people are not affected by your charge. Your charge imbues these objects with enough energy to make them highly unstable, but this is only potential energy, and it makes a small amount of kinetic energy as a catalyst. A bump, a nudge can turn it into a big bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, which, ironically or not, was very similar to Adam Eve, right?
Okay, it is, but
it is very similar.
But Adam Eve's origin story tells a story that then it makes sense. The science doesn't contradict itself. This always contradicts itself, and I don't like it.
Other than him...
How can he charge his skeleton?
I think that when he said that, and that we can get to this towards the end, but I guess it doesn't matter. When he gets that in the end, I think he's charging the things in his hands. I know that doesn't blow up the whole thing, though. You're right.
He says skeleton.
Yeah, he does say skeleton. It looks like his skeleton explodes.
Right.
I know. I feel like somewhere there was an explanation, but I honestly don't know.
But so then he could have easily just charged his clothes, which there was more of. He could have charged that Invincible's clothes.
Yeah. Skeleton, maybe it was just badass.
Oh, no. Clothes would technically be cotton, which would be plant life and organic.
Oh, I don't know.
We always talk about this. We always
we'll get to the bottom of that.
I feel like we have talked about this and we had an answer.
Because you always defended as him charging his implants, not his actual skeleton.
No.
Yeah.
I've never defended that. I've never even thought about that.
So are you saying that that's a contradiction then?
I remember we came up with a legit answer for this, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is either.
And it wasn't even like an argument. It was.
We'll come back to that, though. I do like the scene of him blasting the robot's head off. Which, do you notice that the robot's heads kind of look like his first suit? Oh, and another little.
I don't think it's a robot.
Those you don't think those are robots?
No,
He
it's
just
a guy.
straight up.
It's a guy in a suit.
He blew his head off.
No, he did not. His head's on fire right here.
Oh.
I see an oh, right there it is.
Yeah.
I guess so. Maybe those are people in suits. I thought they were robots. No, they're robots because later on they say that they were all wiped. Anyways, when this guy when he blows this one's head up, here's another little one for you, Bill.
Oh, Portal.
Yeah, there's a little Portal reference on that.
no shit.
The little training slide cards that he's showing off.
Fucking Ryan finding all these fucking things.
I love this suit.
Okay.
So this suit is also
That's what I was just about to
similar
say.
to the robot.
Yeah, that's why Bill said that it was a person in there.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that it looks so similar.
So Rex is an agent then, and he's doing all of the Black Ops stuff for the government that, like, you know, you'd want a secret soldier to do. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What does his suit remind you of?
I don't know what it reminds me of, but this whole thing, and maybe the suit too, reminds me so much of Mark Miller. Like Wanted. It feels like Wanted.
Yes, dude. It fucking looks just like Wanted. If you were to go up to someone and be like, "Oh, hey, what is this?" off the street, be like, "Oh, is that Wanted?"
Yeah, it looked. I don't know if somebody off the streets would do that.
That's
but
true. Yeah,
I know what you mean. It does feel like Wanted. Even like there's even some like kick-ass stuff in here. There's some like it does have that Mark Miller kind of feel to it, which I appreciate. I think it works perfectly for Rex. So
Also, the wording of the Crocodoom
oh shit,
is the same as
that
his
is not
death.
the exact same wording, is it?
I don't know if it's the same word, but it's the same exact font. It might be the same word.
Well,
I'm trying to look it up.
I wonder if Russ did that intentionally.
Yeah.
Because Russ was the letterer for both.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he intentionally did that. Well, wait. This came out right after his death, right?
It came out after his death. Yeah.
Yeah. So Russ Wooten was most likely. It does look
Pretty
like Wanted.
similar. Yeah, it's red eyes with the mask on it.
So Russ Wooten was probably using similar sound effects and styles to show off.
To personalize
it for him. I'd love to talk to Russ Wooten. Wouldn't that be awesome to talk to him
He's
about
done
like
so
he does
much.
everything, and
He's
it's like
touched every fucking comic book title.
and like I feel like, and Kirkman always talks about this, like letterers being super underappreciated for their contribution to comics and how much skill it takes and how difficult and everything. Like it'd be really cool to talk to him. So yeah, he's going around the world, killing people, doing things. I love this one with the baseball, and the guy just chucks it. And Rex is pretty. He's kind of sadistic about it.
Yeah. He's good at his job and he knows it. He's very narcissistic. That's just him.
Especially this whole thing felt very Mark Miller to me. This whole when he goes to Japan. I think it was Japan, was it? Yeah, welcome to Japan, Mr. Radcliffe. And he just goes through killing all these people in the office building, the brain matter on his mask, charging the elevator cable and sliding away as the building explodes, like Adam Eve, and seeing like her do some really cool, crazy, unique stuff.
Ways.
Really smart. I loved this. It was so cool. But yeah, people's heads are blowing up. Like he's brutal. Yeah. He goes back to Radcliffe, and Radcliffe says he has a job for him, and this is a big one. He needs him to take out not someone at the Pentagon, but the entire Pentagon.
Everyone at the Pentagon.
Which I wonder what the story is behind that. Do we get an answer? Is it hidden somewhere in one of these?
As far as I know,
they're just both bad. I mean, he's right. This guy that wants him to kill someone at the Pentagon, he's right. They are bad people at the Pentagon.
He says even though the director is the target, so he's going after Cecil.
Mm-hmm.
We know from issue 50 of The Secret Origin of Cecil that Director Radcliffe was the previous director. They were close. I mean, we don't know what their beef is. As far as I know, I don't know.
But Erickson also works at the Pentagon.
Yeah, but he's long dead at this point. Oh no, actually, he'd probably be dying shortly after this. He's off chasing Britt. Because right now it's probably around this time that he was chasing Britt and died. So
he runs into Eve.
Yeah, he runs into Eve, who is fighting Kill Cannon, which I love his nothing can kill the cannon.
Wait, no, he isn't. Am I mixing people up? In the next issue, they get sent up to the Pentagon.
Oh no, you're right. Erickson is still alive.
Yeah,
you're right, because he shows up still.
Yeah, he's still a part of it.
You're right. You're right.
That doesn't happen. That happens like during Invincible. That's like
no, it happens in the next issue that we're going to talk about.
No, but I mean, Brit is happening during.
Gotcha.
You think so?
Yeah.
But that's why I think maybe there might be a beef between Erickson and Radcliffe.
maybe, but he says he wants to take out the director.
Yeah.
Which we know is Cecil, and we know that in this next issue, Rex delivers the bomb, the baseball, to Cecil, and So Eve shows up, and that's how that issue ends. So issue 2 is.
I like how when she shows up though, you see Kill Cannon first.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
it's Adam Eve's coming. Just like if Doc Ock were to appear somewhere, you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
Spider-Man's coming.
And they, I guess this is a shout out to Benito Sereno or whatever, but they talk like kids. Like I noticed that they are very childish with the way they flirt and the things they say. You're a superhero, totally am. Adam and Eve at your service, citizen. Like
That's
they're being
she's
goofy.
like, yeah, the whole, but it's like this in this issue and the next issue too. Like she's very like Adam Eve, the girl supreme or something like that. Like she's very like what's the word?
Fresh superhero that's
Conceited,
like showing off.
Like she's very into herself.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not like that in Invincible.
So Rex,
also really
I
young.
mean, it's a little wordy right here, but all in all, what happens is he's telling her that
They fight Kill Cannon, which was cool.
they fight Kill Cannon, which was really cool, and then
blow us off his arm and he vomits on himself.
and Eve was like, "Are you sure you need my help? You seem kind of like a superhero too." And he was like, "Well, yeah, I do." He doesn't know whether he should go through with the mission, and while he's waiting to decide, Eve lets him stay with her because he doesn't want to go back because he doesn't want to do the mission. So this reminded me
going to Eve's house, sneaking in her bedroom.
The second Brady Bunch movie, where Greg says that he wants to have the attic bedroom, but Marcia says she wants it, so they put a sheet
Really?
up, and they're both getting changed,
And they're peeking?
and they're peeking at each other. Yeah,
Wait, who is doing this?
Greg and Marcia. Like he's getting changed,
Their
and the shadow,
stepbrother and sister.
and then he says Marcia, and she goes, "Yes, Greg." Like you don't remember
Really?
this, the Brady Bunch movie?
I don't think I've seen
do
it.
you remember, TJ?
I remember it.
Oh,
So
all right.
fucking funny. But yeah, that's what that reminded me of.
All right. Easter egg time. See if you guys can find
Okay,
it.
all right. Which page?
The next one. This one.
The next one?
Yep. See if you guys can find it. It's a good one.
Man.
Yeah. Stay Puft Marshmallow
Stay
Man.
Puft Marshmallow
Which,
Man, yeah.
when was the next time we see that? TJ, you should know.
In her, I own the page.
You own the page.
In Tara's bedroom when she was in her nursery.
Yeah, when they say that it's we should leave
Time
Earth.
to leave Earth, yeah.
Yeah. So that stuffed animal gets passed down to baby Tara.
Oh,
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Who
That's cool.
the fuck keeps track of this stuff?
I mean, we've
here's the
talked
thing.
about Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because I own the page.
Okay,
Here's
right.
the thing,
but
though.
how did
How-
they know that it was in
That
this?
was years later. Ryan Ottley drew that years later. This isn't even Ryan Ottley.
That's what I'm saying. Who the fuck keeps track of all these little things?
We gotta ask Ryan Ottley if he did that intentionally. There's no way. I'll take a picture of this one and then the page you
like
have.
maybe he read it. I mean, he had to have read
Because
it.
there's also the unicorn right next to it.
The unicorn's also in the page that I own.
Yeah, but is it that unicorn or is it a bicornuclops?
No, it's that unicorn.
It's that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, no, he did it intentionally. He referenced old stuffed animals that Eve had or something as a kid to get
How?
ideas for kid stuff for Tara.
Now I want to go back and see like if it's all of them.
Tara
It
doesn't
might be all of
have a
them.
unicorn. She has a
got it.
biclop.
No, Tara does not have a bicornuclops.
Yes, she does.
Not in the page that I own.
When they're gonna leave Earth and
No,
they're dancing with her and stuff like that.
Maybe, but not
I
in the
bet
page
you
that I
$1
own.
million in the page that you own.
Not
I
in the
bet
page
you
that I
$1
own.
million.
$1 million?
$1 million.
You already owe me
bajillion
two
gajillion
pizzas.
dollars.
All right, here it is.
No, I take it back.
Yeah.
It is not a bicornuclops.
I know it's not.
It's also not exactly the
I
same.
look at it every day when I wake
it's
up
still-
before
but
I
it's,
go to
but it's still
bed.
very similar.
But it's a unicorn with wings. It's like a Pegasus
looks-
with
yeah.
a unicorn.
Yeah, it is that. It's just a different color. Yep.
It's just those two, I think.
Yeah, it looks like just those two. But dude, that is straight up.
Yeah.
He had to have referenced that. How cool is that?
It's the coolest, Ryan.
All right. What's next?
A package gets delivered to Cecil, and he's smoking a pipe, which is super weird.
Which he was in old issues of what was Cecil's first appearance? Because it wasn't Invincible. Brit, right?
Yeah,
and
he
he
was
had
smoking
a pipe in
yeah.
Brit, so that
We talked about it.
and that makes sense why he
Yep.
would be smoking a pipe here.
So there's a little note in the baseball thing, and it says, "I don't know who you are, but I just saved your life."
Which is so cool.
So this is the moment where Rex Splode decides he's not going to work for the government anymore. He's not going to be in that bad house.
So here's one thing I wasn't super sure of. He's at the house and he goes to basically leave.
That's his dad.
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't get this either.
So he sees his dad in a picture in the hall of pictures at the mansion where Radcliffe is, and it's a photo with Rex's dad and all his military buddies with director Radcliffe.
And that's what tips Rex off. To what, though?
And what does that imply? That Radcliffe knew him?
Yeah, like, was his dad in on it the whole time? Why was he poor
No,
then?
I think Radcliffe knew that.
Befriended him after...
No, he didn't befriend him. He just knew that he was hurting, like, and that he was a vet with no job and had a kid. So then he went after. That's why he found Rex in that. That's what. No. I just feel like that's how he stumbled across Rex stealing food, is probably because he knew.
Well, that's what I mean.
And
like
he knew
maybe
that it would be an easy target.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe he's looking for somebody who would be willing to.
So even if that's the case, again, what is this implying?
And what?
It's literally implying.
It's implying
that,
like he knew how to find Rex. Like, okay,
that's what I mean.
Not
like,
a big deal.
It doesn't really.
I don't think that's it. I think it's trying to imply something else.
It's interesting because it doesn't really lead to anything.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because then they fight about the fact that he didn't blow up the Pentagon, and they get in a fight. We also do see Radcliffe with the Guardians of the Globe and everything here. But yeah, so he gets in a fight with Radcliffe. This is the slap I was thinking of in this volume.
This is crazy.
Radcliffe slaps him across the face and is grabbing him, and he's like choking him. Isn't he like threatening to kill him?
Yeah.
Does that look like Brittany to you?
Yeah, it does.
Why would she have a gun though?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it just looks similar because remember, it's the same artist.
That's Brittany, Britt, and the other brother.
Holy shit, you're right. That is.
It's the old one that doesn't have the serum, that doesn't age.
Yep.
So there's in that same picture with
Which again,
his dad.
Nate drew that series, so that makes sense.
Right. There's a picture of Brittany, Britt off screen, and then their brother.
Who was ultimately a villain? Wasn't it Britt or something?
No.
Or no? Oh, Ulix.
Oh yeah, Ulick.
Eunice. Yeah, we couldn't pronounce it then either.
But he was the brother that didn't have
Bill, you
powers.
caught one.
I caught one.
You found one.
I did it.
You did it.
I'm gonna look for more pictures.
So yeah, TJ, Radcliffe tries choking Rex. Rex kind of accidentally, right? It is an accident, right?
Yeah, it's an accident because he tells him to stop. He tells him to stop.
Don't touch. He powers them up. Yeah.
Yeah, he touches his glasses, and then Rex goes, "Wait, what have you?" And Rex says, "Wait, no, don't touch," meaning his glasses, and then he stupidly touches his own glasses,
which ignites him
and blows his head and hand off. Look at
like
his hand disintegrating.
I never really noticed the hand.
The bone.
And you see the bone?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Look at the jaw.
And the skull, just the top of his skull, like cracking.
Or his neck melting.
Little pieces. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh yeah, his neck is melting too.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just from one little pair of glasses.
Yeah. Rex freaks out. See, there's some robots. Some of them are robots.
But these are obviously robots.
He blows up the entire mansion in what is one of the coolest looking pages.
Yeah, that is a cool page.
And goes back to Eve's house where he breaks down, saying that he really messed up and that he blew it up and that the government's gonna be coming for them or searching through it. And she freaks out because she's like, the government are bad people. Trust me. I've dealt with them before. You don't want the government showing up there. We have to go and take care of this. And we find out that the government did, in fact, show up. The science division of the Pentagon, Erickson and Rogers, attorneys at law.
And they confirm that the DNA is
Radcliffe's,
and
which isn't really a big deal.
The other guy
right?
says outstanding because apparently he wanted him dead for some reason.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, maybe you know what? Maybe Cecil. That's probably what it was. Cecil was probably on to Radcliffe, knowing that he was a terrorist, basically. Mm-hmm. And so Cecil was trying to shut him down. So Radcliffe was probably like, okay, well, we have to stop them first, right?
Yep.
Which is why Erickson and Rogers are happy about the fact that Radcliffe is dead, because Radcliffe's the bad guy. Even though Erickson and Rogers are bad guys, too.
Exactly. They're both bad guys, and they don't like each other.
All right, final issue. This is issue 3 of Adam Eve Presents. Invincible Presents Adam, Eve, and Rex
Invincible
Splode.
Presents, right, yep.
I didn't really fully understand this cover, by the way, until I read the back column, and I'm ashamed that I didn't understand the cover. Because it's a pun. Do you guys get it?
Atom bomb.
Yeah, because it's an atom and
an explosion.
Rex Splode, explosion, Adam, Eve.
Oh.
I didn't really get it. And I was like, what is with the explosion kissing in front of the explosion? It never made sense. I do wish these covers didn't have Invincible on them. I get why they did it.
To sell the comic.
But it just looks so
bad.
weird in all of them. Like, it's just really random. But, again, I get it. This issue starts, and Adam, Eve, and Rex Splode arrive to the crime scene.
I like how he's flying on like one of her like pink discs.
Yeah, that's how
cool.
it's kind of like a Magneto thing, where she kind of gives him a little disc to float down on. I like how Rex has handy dandy binoculars in his pouch.
From his assassin days.
Yeah. So they look. Eve sees that it is in fact Erickson, freaks out, puts Rex in a costume because she knows that if they see him, then his life will be ruined. They'll hunt him forever.
Mm-hmm.
What is his? You're not gonna get it.
What's that?
What his costume kind of reminds me of.
All right, let me look.
It's a little bit of a stretch.
You look at it, Bill. I will say, in the back sketchbook section, Nate Bellegarde said that he created the costume because he, on a whim, like while he was drawing, and he was trying to make the most gaudy, like terrible looking costume for somebody who thinks they would be like cool with explosions, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's supposed to look bad,
right?
And corny,
right?
I don't know, TJ. What is it?
Goofy movie, Powerline-ish.
Oh,
it does kind of look like
it's a little
Powerline, I guess.
I'm thinking of the glasses mainly.
So Eve says to be stealthy. Rex blows up the gate. Not stealthy. All the soldiers start coming after them,
shooting them.
They find out it's superheroes. Erickson says, "Get me my big gun."
He says, "If it's wearing a costume, make it bleed."
Yep, and we know like from Britt that he's all about huge guns and getting all jacked out. So yeah, they're just trying to protect themselves. Like the back of Rex's costume says "boom" on it.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah. I do like the little clips. Like how on his belt are these little clips that have the boomsticks. Are we calling them boomsticks, right, TJ?
Boomsticks,
yeah. The boomsticks that he can like kind of pluck off and throw. And later on you find that he has one left kind of hanging there.
I like that in this panel. It looks like Rex's whole goal is to turn this thing into a bomb and blow up the rest of the house, and he throws it, and one of the soldier things flies in the way, and he hits him, and he's like, "Oh man, that was your own fault, dude," like for flying in front of it.
Yeah. Oh, you're right, because he's trying to throw it at the thing, and the guy flies. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Ryan, what do you see in this panel? It's an Easter egg.
If you're referring to Eve's butt,
I am
that's
referring
not
to
an Easter egg.
Eve's butt.
Bill, she is a teenager.
What?
Kind of.
Is she? Oh, is she pretty young in this?
She's pretty young.
No, she's a teen. She's right before the
She's
teen.
in high school in Invincible, and this is before that.
Oh, no.
So,
You know what?
Rex's plan is
The
to...
damage is done.
So Rex's plan is to... I mean, obviously it was drawn a certain way.
Yeah.
Rex's plan is to destroy the house by detonating the gas line. He starts to charge it, and this is when Adam Eve actually gives him his name. Because he tries to... they ask...
what his
name is, and he says Rex, and she yells out Splode.
Because it's actually Sloan.
Because it's Sloan.
Rex
Sloan. That's right. And Erickson says, "I'm sorry, little girl. Do I know you?" Which is a reference to the fact that she erased his memory of her. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. They yell at each other. There's a great cheesy line that Rex has that says, "I don't need you. All I need is my girlfriend." He throws the stick down, detonates the gas line, and kisses in front of an explosion, which I guess is a callback to the cover. Erickson yells for everybody to try and salvage everything, and that's the last we see. That's the last we see of the antagonists in this. And then we get...
like the prelude.
Yeah, it's them showing up to Art's shop.
and him getting a new costume.
Yeah.
His Rex Splode costume.
Which is the panel very similar to the way Mark's costume was revealed? Hold this for a second. I'm gonna grab it.
Okay. I think so, in that there's someone else there. Right?
His
Let's
dad.
see. Yeah, it's
Omni-Man.
No, I got.
standing there.
With
And I think it's even
Omni-Man.
the same in this is after.
With Marky and Deb.
Got stand out stuck in my head now.
So it is a little similar. The way he's standing there.
Yeah, it always is. Look, so Art's standing there. Look at this page. Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
This page. Them standing together.
Oh, you're right.
Staying together. Him speaking. It's the same kind of general
Now,
flow.
Hold
of,
that page. You guys talk about the next page. I'm gonna grab issue 51 where he gets the black costume.
Got myself in motion.
So,
I know you understand. Set the world in motion.
Or
Powerline.
just
Yeah,
sing.
goofy
That
movie.
works too.
Part
So,
of the
issue-
standout
Watch it.
tour of '94.
Stand out.
Yes.
Issue 51 when Mark gets the black. So
See?
Oliver's
Now
is
Oliver's
the
getting his
exact-
code. It's
That
it's
is
Mark and-
similar to the original.
No, this Oliver getting his costume is the same as Mark
Yes.
getting his first.
which is the same as Marky getting his costume with Deb being there with Art.
Is it the same as?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
It
I
has
think
to
you're
be.
right.
It has to be.
Which is the same as Invincible getting his.
All right, now let's look at issue 144. Okay, this is the stuff I love. All right, ready? Nope,
No, it's not.
it's not.
Wasted
It
opportunity.
just shows him.
It is a wasted opportunity because it's the
Yeah,
same
but that's
kind
too
of
much.
I own that page.
You do, but that's too much. 144. They had to move it.
right.
But yeah, so I knew it looked familiar in a sense.
So no one ever goes to his shop alone to get a costume. They always
Doesn't
go
seem
with
like it.
someone that's like, I'm gonna help you get your first costume.
No, Bulletproof goes by himself when he goes to get the
Because
Bulletproof
Bulletproof's
costume.
a fucking asshole.
All
Fuck
right,
Bulletproof.
all right. So it
I second
ends.
that, actually.
Eve.
Thank you.
Eve turns herself into her new costume, which removes the
This-
skirt.
This is where Rex turns into a bit of an asshole. Like, he's not letting it go. He's like, whoa, Eve, this is way better than the costume you gave me. And he just keeps talking about
I
how
mean, I kind of
hers-
got that this whole thing. Like
hers
he
is
is kind
lame.
of a.
I didn't get it.
What?
I never got him being
You're-
an asshole.
You have, what's that thing where you fall in love with your captors?
Not Stockholm syndrome.
It's Stockholm Syndrome. You have Stockholm Syndrome, but for Rex Splode's narcissism.
What? Tell me how.
I don't
he's
know.
a jerk
Just
to you.
he is. I will read. Do you want me to read it verbatim?
Him saying this is way better than like
Okay.
it is way better.
Art says,
I mean,
behold the man, and then he
She-
says, "Yes, I
if-
am the man." Man, no offense, Eve, but this is way better than that piece of crap you whipped up for me.
oh whatever.
Okay, so yeah,
such
there is a
that's
little
a
bit.
big thing to say, dude.
There is a little
Whatever.
bit.
Piece of crap thing you whipped up for me. That's so insensitive. He's a fucking asshole. I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad.
I'm glad Battle Beast is dead.
Fuck
Little
you.
fucking kitten couldn't even beat Thrag. He's nobody.
Couldn't even
He's a
beat
piece of
Thrag.
shit. You know who could have beat him? Rex.
Rex Splode, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll see. Next round is super fight.
She explains in to Rex who Erickson was in this. Rex then ends up staying at her house for a while, and I remember in an issue of Invincible when Eve's dad talks to Mark about how she isn't a virgin, right? And that hey, hope you don't mind getting someone sloppy seconds, and says all this stuff to Mark. He says, at one point she had a boy living in this house without us knowing, right? This is what her dad was referring to.
Yeah.
So Rex stays there for a while. We assume for a while. There's like a picture in the background of him like posing with the cops arresting somebody. And this is him eating steak that you were mentioning in the beginning, TJ.
Yeah, because he wants steak every night.
Mm-hmm.
Just like his father wanted steak every night.
This is when he researches his dad's
He
He's
finds
like,
where his
you can
parents
find.
are.
He says, you can find people on this internet thing, and then he goes off, he's walking through the snow, finds a big mansion, looks in the window,
I own this page.
and sees his dad and his mom in the mansion, and it's Christmas, ironically enough, because that's when they took him.
So can you pull up
right,
the issue 25?
Yeah.
And he's charging a ball as if to kill them, and then a little boy runs into the room, or a little girl, I don't know.
Little girl.
And they also have a little baby too, don't they? Yeah. So they have 2 children now. They have a little.
Oh, they do have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his mom's holding a baby, and then another little daughter runs into the room. So Rex drops the ball and walks away, and Eve shows up.
So what's cool is that it's the same scene, only from different angles. I like that. But the same, she's wearing the same stuff. Oh, the reef.
TJ, wow.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Only he doesn't cry.
He doesn't walk away alone.
He doesn't cry in the.
Well, Eve could be standing on this side of him, which she would be.
Yeah.
And this is after he turns away. This is right over the hill this happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Rex drops the ball, doesn't go through it. And Eve's like, let's go find something more fun to do. Rex is like, I could think of a fun thing or two that we could do together. And it ends with them barging in, fighting the Lizard League. And it kind of like sets up their whole dynamic. Time for Adam, Eve, and Rex Splode to kick some butt. And that's them going on, the beginning of their relationship. We know that they go on to date, and then Rex cheats on her with multiple duplicates. And then the best part of this whole thing is this
in the back of the volume. Now, when did these show up? Were they in the back of?
They were in the back of Invincible Presents Adam Eve, both issues.
Yeah,
so
Adam
each,
Eve.
just the Adam Eve one, because there's 2 of them, and each of them were in the back of one of those issues. So it's written by Robert Kirkman, and it's 2 pages. Shows it says why Invincible isn't in this comic, starring Omni-Man. Bill, you want to?
Yeah, so I'll just read it verbatim. So it's at Mark and Nolan's house with Deb, and Mark is sitting there. He's about 10 years old, and Deb says, "Oh, look, Mark, your father's home early." And Mark says, "Hey, Dad, we still going to the batting cage the weekend?" He's like, "That's the plan. Did you happen to get your powers yet?" Mark says, "Nope." And then Omni-Man says, "Okay, I'm going to get dressed for dinner." The end.
The end. It's so funny. I love this.
Part 2.
And this is like young Mark, so we're assuming this is happening well.
Yeah, he's like
Eve
12.
Eve is getting her powers and meeting Rex. Mark is just at home. Yeah, and then the second one, why Invincible isn't in this comic, starring Omni-Man. It's Omni-Man fighting a bunch of the Magmites, who we always see with Doc Seismic. Mm-hmm. And he's like underground, and he's beating the shit out of them and getting covered in magma, and he's freaking out. And he thinks to himself, he's getting surrounded by Magmites, and he thinks to himself, man, I hope Mark gets his powers soon.
The end.
I feel like both of those were a result of like the answers that Kirkman gives at Comic-Cons, or like the answers that he gave when we interviewed him, and it's just like, why didn't this happen? He's like, because this, and this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just,
I think
like,
it's more like
out there.
Like if anybody were to ask, like, oh, what was Mark doing all this? Like, why isn't it Invincible? It's like he didn't get his powers.
Yet. Yeah.
He didn't have his powers.
Yeah.
I just think it's a fun play on that.
Yep.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit after the Adam Eve section. The Rex Splode section, you still kind of agree, like, it's worth reading. It's not super necessary, but definitely worth reading for anybody that's reading Invincible.
It definitely doesn't feel like Invincible, kind of like how... is it Guarding the Globe?
Guarding the Globe?
Guarding the Globe?
Yes.
What are you asking?
Yeah.
Which felt very Invincible.
Like an Invincible universe.
Right, yeah, that filled an Invincible void. This doesn't. This doesn't feel like Invincible, but it's very good, tragic backstory. It's everything that you like to... No, Ryan, it didn't feel like Invincible.
No, I'm going to say I partially disagree in the fact that I'd say this is just as necessary as Guarding the Globe.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I didn't think that Guarding...
Like it's not like Tech Jacket or even Wolfman where it's like kind of standalone. Like, no, this is Invincible. Like
I never thought that. I never took it as Guarding as filling a globe, or guarding as filling a void. Guarding didn't fill a void for me.
Well, but it felt like Invincible. It felt like Invincible.
I agree with Bill.
Tone, like in universe. Well, you're just an asshole. Is what you are.
I thought Invincible Universe did more than Guarding.
That's
like
what it was.
more.
That's what it was. Invincible Universe was the one that we liked more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Guarding, I just thought was kind of boring.
I really like Guarding. So it says Volume 1 on it. And they do that just kind of to cover themselves. Even Tech Jacket always said Volume 1 long before more Tech Jacket volumes came out, years later. Say, for example, we're going to get a Volume 2. Comes out next year sometime. Now, Kirkman's done. We're not getting more Invincible, but we're going to get an Invincible Presents. It's just going to be 2 issues, then maybe 3 issues, just like this one, and then they're going to be collected into a Volume 2. 2 different stories of different characters or something like that. Who are some characters we want to see?
Terra.
Immortal and Duplicate.
No, Terra. Marky. Why the fuck wouldn't they do that?
Well, no, I think that
Invincible
would be...
Presents Marky?
I think that
and
would...
Marky?
No,
I think we see what we want to see.
Yeah,
Like,
I think those would be continuing.
that was a stamp.
I disagree.
See,
Immortal and Duplicate.
well, what would be cool is if they actually took the rest of the origins that were in 25, which would be Immortal, Duplicate would kind of be their own,
Yeah.
and then Monster Girl would be the other.
I'd
so
like to
Volume
see
2 would be the
Invincible
3 of
Presents,
them.
like what happened with Immortal and Duplicate during the time that we didn't see them.
Oh, that would
Before
be cool.
144.
That would be
But like
cool.
after, you know.
But I'd also like to see, like,
them
we
giving
got-
birth to their kids and like, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like getting them their costumes
yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah,
That would
their
be cool.
powers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would want to see, similar to what they did with the issue 25 origins, was the same story, but redoing that artwork and kind of expanding on it. So like the story of Duplicate and her brother and what happened and how they were separated at birth and
Yeah.
all those kind of things. And then obviously more stories of Immortal as Abraham Lincoln, as all these different people hiding the fact that he has superpowers.
Yeah.
Because obviously while he was
It would
immortal,
be
he had
very
strength and flight.
Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
That'd be cool. I'd like it.
Oh, that book was so good.
Give me
It
a
was
volume
so
2.
bad.
A little bit of feedback we got was over on Twitter. Wyatt said that he just read this for the first time today, and I was surprised with how great it was. Really cool stuff. I could see why Rex is TJ's favorite character.
True.
Yep.
Who wrote
True
that?
Wyatt Lane. And then Troy, who's our friend from Imperial Rex, which is the YouTube show that we are appearing on. The second episode of their
The
whole...
second one or the third?
We're going to be on the third, but the second episode of their whole review, like Invincible kind of discussion, came out just this past week. So
cool.
check that out. Troy says, I thought this whole trade was really strong, loved the backstories to both characters, and loved to see Nate Bellegarde's art develop as the series continues. Because they were a couple years apart too, so that was cool. So yeah, that does it. Bill, you have not seen Mission Impossible yet?
That's true.
We need to see that soon. You didn't either, TJ?
No,
Have you guys
I
seen
didn't
anything
either.
lately?
No. Nothing new. Oh, that's not true.
What'd you see?
I feel like I had to have seen something.
No, that's not. No, I haven't seen anything.
I feel like I did too, but I can't think of what it is.
I just, you know what? Maybe it's because Infinity War came out digitally and I bought it and I
Did
watched
you?
that again.
I'm getting it Tuesday. TJ, I need to borrow tomorrow.
That's a good fucking movie
I want to
the
borrow
second time around.
HD or the 4K player again.
Okay.
I want to watch it in 4K. Infinity War.
Infinity War? I want to watch it with you then.
All right, Tuesday night. Bill, how's your Switch? I got a Switch recently, and we've been playing. Did you play more Octopath Traveler?
No, I haven't.
Have you been playing anything else lately?
You know what? It's because I started playing No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah, you've been playing
Again.
the update. So, haven't seen too many changes, or
It's
is it different?
no different. All you can do now on the boring planets is build boring things. Like it's crazy because remember how the first mission started and you have to like repair your ship and then go
Yeah.
off into space, you can do whatever. This is very structured and it's like, okay, so you have to repair your ship, then you have to go to this distress signal and it's someone teaching you how to use blueprints.
Really?
But then you have to get an element and then you have to build a refinery. You have to refine that element twice to build this new thing to build a base.
It's more RPG. Like they're making it a little bit more.
Yeah, but like Fallout 4 did it way better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still want to jump in, and we'll see what co-op looks like with that.
It's kind of it feels good to go back in if you just want to do nothing for 15 minutes, you know what I mean? And just like mine and stuff. Mm-hmm. But other than that,
We have been playing. I've been playing Mario Kart with Devin, and that's a ton of fun. I can't wait for Smash Brothers. They announced a whole bunch of new stuff for Smash
I've
Brothers
never
today.
played Smash Brothers in
It's
my
gonna
life.
be a lot of fun. You're gonna get it. We're gonna have fun playing that. TJ, how's Fortnite? Have you still been playing it?
I still play it occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And
It's the kind of game you can't
very
play
difficult.
occasionally. You have to like live it so you can get better and stand a chance. Because if
No,
you play
I
it
just
occasionally,
that's how I play it though. Is
Yeah.
it just occasionally? Just pop on.
I mean,
See
I
how
literally,
far I can get.
I will. There's this. I I said this before, but there's a guy that I work with that was on it, and I'm like I know his family, I know his kids, and his kids are like obsessed with it, like obsessed. So I'll go on and I'll play with his kids and I'll play with him, but other than that, like I'll play a couple matches by myself and like get off.
Yeah.
So
before we wrap it up, I want to talk about Spider-Man. See what you guys thought of Spider-Man. Before that, though, Cosmic Ghost Rider is awesome. TJ, you started, or are you still waiting to read the Thanos first?
So Dylan Burnett is doing Cosmic Ghost Rider, and he's the only reason why I want to read it, because I like him a lot as an artist.
But I think you'll want to read it more if you read Thanos first.
But I will have to read Thanos
because
first.
then you'll actually really like it's so cool.
Sorry,
So,
just something that's. Did you guys ever watch Ozark?
No, I've heard good things.
Season 2 comes out this month.
Really?
I watched
Yes.
the first episode of the first season, and it was okay. It
Shut
didn't intrigue me to continue, but that doesn't mean I won't.
Yeah.
I might, like, if
I'll watch
I'm bored
it. I
and
heard
there's
such
nothing
good things
else on.
about it.
Have you guys watched any Orange?
Yeah, we finished it.
Because I have not.
I haven't
keep
watched-
forgetting it even exists.
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm like
It-
3 seasons behind.
The previous season was my favorite season of the entire show. This season was one of my least favorites by far, except for the last 2 episodes. The rest was just not good.
Bill, talk about Stellar.
Stellar.
I don't think
The
you
comic?
talked about it. Yeah, you read the first issue. I think we talked about it.
We said we didn't care for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did
that
you
was
not care for it either?
Not really.
Yeah.
It ended super random. The second issue came out. Didn't read it.
I didn't read it either.
I don't know if I will.
It
We'll see.
didn't capture me, unfortunately.
What do you think?
Did you?
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, you need to catch up on Saga, TJ, because the last issue of Saga that came out, Bill and I can't talk about right now, but it was incredible, and now they're taking a year break.
Yep.
It was really, really good. Yeah.
Where am I going to be in a year?
Who knows?
What if the world ends and we will never know how Saga ends?
Yeah, it's possible.
I think about that sometimes. I think about if I lose my sight before I see the next Batman
or
movie
before
and I can never
the
fucking see
Invincible
it.
animated series.
Oh,
What if you went blind?
that's how it feels. Saga,
Yeah.
you're pushing this thing out a year. Who knows where I'll
Who
be.
knows? TJ, what were you about to say though?
I don't remember.
Okay, then Spider-Man.
We didn't read Spider-Man.
You guys didn't read the third
didn't
issue.
read the
What'd
third
you get?
issue.
Then
I
let's
didn't
talk
read the
about.
second issue.
You didn't read the second issue?
Didn't?
There was a second issue?
There's 3 issues out. They're it's bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
Oh.
Even if it came out monthly, you should have read more than 1 issue by now.
Right, but it's like I got it originally because it was Ryan Otley's triumphant return and stuff
So
like
it
that.
didn't really
it's
hook you
not-
that much?
No, it's still Marvel.
Still feels like
You know,
a
it's still-
Spider-Man Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Did you like the second issue, TJ?
Not really.
No?
Love is art,
Oh.
Not
but
crazy about it?
I don't.
You gonna read the third one?
I don't think it's
The third one?
It's a lot. First
Yeah.
of all, I feel like I don't know if it's a lot. I didn't actually count the pages or anything. I don't know if it's more than your typical comic, but it felt like I was reading
long.
it forever, and I was just like, oh, there's more. There's more.
This-
I'm going to continue to read it because I want to support Ottley, and I hope that it gets better. But it's just, I don't know. Like, I can't even say that it's franchised because Batman is so good. It's so good.
But you've also been reading that forever. You're jumping in the
but
beginning.
I've read some bad Batman.
Fucking Zen Air
Zen and R.
fucking the Rest in Peace Batman was fucking
bad.
atrocious.
Yeah, that was bad.
Um,
I own a page from that.
I know that the second issue of Otley's Spider-Man ended in a kind of questionable direction. I wasn't sure where it was going to go. I'm happy with the third issue though. It was a cool way. You'll see it.
I gotta
You'll
read
see.
the third one. It just came out today, right?
Yeah, I want to know what you think. Let me know. All right, so that does it for us. Make sure you listen to the Oblivion Song podcast. That'll be live today.
Also out today.
It's out right now. Go get it.
It's a great time to catch up because it is one whole trade, one whole story arc. You can read it all right now.
And now we can finally open up.
And we can
The trade
open up
paper
everything.
that was
I
sent
have it
to-
right here. I haven't looked at it yet. We also have. You can also find us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. You can email us if you want to be a part of the show. Send us your thoughts, anything you want to say, show ideas, comments, concerns, questions, anything.
This is pretty cool. So on Twitter, Drake Bell
Oh,
asked if he wanted
there was
anyone
this thing.
to do.
I was scrolling through Twitter. This is what happened. I was scrolling through Twitter. Drake Bell, I follow him because he's
a big Invincible fan.
He's an Invincible fan.
He wants to
so
play
anyone
Mark
that's
Grayson
an
in the
Invincible
movie.
fan, I'll follow Invincible fans. I like to see that. And when the movie was announced, he threw his name out there and he was like, "Yeah, I want to play him." And Boss Logic on Twitter created artwork of him as Invincible and all this stuff. So anyways, I was scrolling through and I see a video from Drake Bell, and I noticed in the background, I was like, there's an Invincible behind him. And so, because I just catch little things like that. Yeah, an Invincible figure. And so I replied to that being like, I spy an Invincible figure in the background there. And then he responded to us saying...
In a video,
saying like... he
said, that is an Invincible figure, and there's an Invincible figure,
yeah.
and all this is Invincible stuff. And he went over to his...
He's like bookshelf of all this stuff.
And it has every trade paperback.
He has the Hero Clicks.
He has the Hero Clicks. He has all the trade paperbacks, the hardcovers. He has...
It was cool.
All the figures, the action figures.
So here's what I want to propose, because I would love to have Drake Bell. I loved Drake Bell. I watched Drake and Josh.
So here's what's funny.
Religiously.
Bill, you know young Drake Bell.
Right.
TJ, you know more adult Drake Bell.
Yep.
I don't know who he is. I know Invincible fan Drake Bell.
So here's what we want to do. Here's what I want to do. I want to champion to get Drake Bell on the show.
Somebody even replied to us saying like, "Oh shit, is Drake Bell coming on the show?"
Right. I think that would be amazing. So if anybody is listening and he's a follower,
maybe
private message him and see if he'll join
maybe
the
after
podcast.
this episode goes live, maybe Friday afternoon or Saturday or something, I'll tweet out a message and everybody can retweet it and like it and everything like that. Maybe get a little attention
We could
to
start the just to get him in the movie or on the show.
I mean, just showing up. I mean, the fact that he voiced Ultimate Spider-Man, now that I watched, so I know Drake Bell from that. I know Spider-Man Drake Bell. Like, the fact that he's a voice actor for a superhero animated series and an Invincible fan, like, that'd be cool if he made an appearance, even.
Not even appearance.
Even if he can't be a main character, like, come on.
Ideally,
Drake Bell, I think, will be a voice on the animated series as somebody.
I agree.
Like they'd be.
That's like saying Phil Lamar will because he's a fan and he's a voice actor.
He will. Like I mean, if Voice Lamar wants to voice something, fuck you. You're gonna put him on something. Like
especially if you need a black man voiced.
It doesn't matter what you need voiced. He
Samurai
can do
Jack is a
everything.
White guy.
He's a Japanese man and he voiced him for years.
He's not a Japanese man.
He voiced Samurai Jack, a white Japanese guy.
Right. You know who Phil Lamar is, right?
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying
he's from Mad TV.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying he's a black man who voiced a Japanese guy. Like he can voice anything.
In a Skybound thing, he talks about how he would want to voice the Immortal and does a quick little Immortal thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
he'll be on it. I think that
it would be cool.
I think that Drake Bell will be a voice of somebody, and I think that Greg Miller will be a voice of someone.
That'll be like a passer, a quick thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll reach out to Drake Bell, see if he'd want to come on the show and be a guest, talk to us. But that does it. Like I said, if you wanted to email us, our email is theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, Bill and TJ.
It's so hot in here.
It's so hot in here, as always. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test. This is going to be an actual audio test. I'm going to be talking right about here. Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan. TJ, say something.
This is TJ. Oh, hello, it's TJ.
Bill, how are you doing?
Oh, it's Bill.
And let's see.
And here.